Hello, another pair of socks, this time fingering weight yarn I used to knit these. Right, so you see how they look like, and when I said fingering, it's not really a fingering per se, because I'm going to show you the yarn. The leftovers that I have from the leftovers that I received, because actually, again, I received amazing leftovers from Diane. This is the yarn that I got, and actually these are my leftovers from her leftovers, if that makes sense. First things first about the yarn. So this is a Crazy Dog yarn, and this is based in Australia. So someone asked me, have I knitted with Australian yarn? This is it. So this is a steadfast sock, which means that the name for that, I think, represents the blend, which is 80-20. We have Sucrose, Merino and Nylon. And previously, a previous video, I also, it's a Phil Arts from Canada, and I had also a 80-20. And I think they look quite similar from perspective how the yarn is twisted. I presume because it's merino, not wool, and I'm used to knitting with wool, which is more sturdy, and merino is softer, so I presume it has to have a stronger twist to, you know, have a good wear and tear. I think I would compare those two together from that perspective. Therefore, for 100 grams, we have 420 yards, and I checked it 384 meters. So we don't have here a standard fingering, but I would still classify fingering from 365, 400 and 425 meters in yards. Maybe on the screen over here I write it down. So I did not use my standard US size 2 needles, which is 2.75 millimeters. I used over here my standard US size 1. And what happens if you have a thicker yarn and you use thinner needles than normally you would? The fabric per se, when you touch those socks, they're kind of dense. So basically all those stitches, they're very squeezed together and create stronger fabric per se. Softer, not really, because they're so squished. So if you would want to have so therefore, if you want to knit a sweater or anything like that, you know, you would need to do a sample first to see, do you like this fabric? And sometimes in some yarns you would prefer it looser than actually even than the yarn recommends, because on the label sometimes you will have written information, especially in commercial yarns. They write down the gauge, how many stitches per 4 inches, 10 centimeters you get knitting on a certain certain size of the needles. Sometimes they put just one size, or sometimes they'd give you like from this to this, because if you are a knitter, you are like an artist, you have an individual signature, and your individual signature is your tension. So just saying. Anyway, if you want to knit these socks, the pattern is for free. I call it Fast and Easy Socks. You have it maybe in my patterns, just go over there on Ravelry and Lovecrafts. But also there is a tutorial, so once you grab the copy, I would say go and watch a video. It'd be really fun to have kind of one-to-one sessions with me. So you'll be knitting with me if you've never knitted these kind of socks before. Over here I did a little bit of change because, yeah. So I told you about the yarn. Maybe I'll show you also a bag, because this bag is, so the yarn is from Australia, the bag is from Canada, and so all the links down below in my keychain. Although I have a problem with my shop, my card does not work properly, so I think I'm going to close it for a while and think for any other ideas. So we shall see how that goes. So that's that. If you want to support me, go and check my patterns. I think that's the best thing. Okay, and I love this bag. This bag was made by Diane, and a beautiful inside. I like a white inside, so you can find things inside the bag. And we have a lovely lovely side. I like that it's not so dense, so in my section where I can keep my project bags I can fill more, and yeah, for me I think less better in regards to interfacing. So interfacing is something that you put that you actually iron to the fabric per se. Maybe it's cotton to create more solid look that you can kind of hold itself. Right, so I had a few interesting things in regards to these socks. On the screen I'm going to show you because I was just on the screen over here I can show you how I was cutting the yarn to insert the heel. I was sitting and I just wanted to post on Instagram and you really like that, so I just cut the yarn. I know not everyone is so comfortable to do that. On this channel there is a tutorial how I do it. I would say watch it a few times and you will be quite confident then to do that. Not only because of these socks, I also created another video. My battery is blinking, so I'm going to change that and I'll tell you about the toe. Okay, I'm back. So interesting situation over here. Maybe I will show you the photo of the tutorial that I did. I started knitting these socks with another yarn because I have actually contrast toes, heels and ribbing, so I'm going to show you that in a sec what kind of yarn I use. But before I actually use the one that I have over here, I took the different one and I knitted a sock and then I knitted another one with this, and I compared those two together and I thought that the yarn does not work and I would want to have a different toe, and I thought it would be a brilliant opportunity to show you how I do it. And I would say watch first the tutorial if you want to try, because like I said in it, these socks were knitted that I knitted a toe, I changed the color and I started another one, so it wasn't that bad from perspective of the tail to wave in later on. But if you have a constant one color, then I would recommend you to go one row higher to cut the yarn, so when you unravel you will have a decent length of the tail to wave in at the end. So I'm just saying, so I would say I'm going to put one video how I made toe up socks and then another video with the tutorial how I changed this. It's a tutorial, maybe it's more something I shared with you, and I hope you're going to enjoy it and like it, and maybe in case something like that happens to you. I know I changed that from perspective of the toe. I did not like the color, let's say, it didn't work together. But in case you will have a hole in the toe and you knit a toe up, and this is something to do in case something like that happens. So I started with this yarn, obviously you don't see it, but I kept the toe, so this was my toe. And I cut and I have it. I'm going to kind of put it back, I think. Although at the end of the day I can keep it and I just pick up the stitches and start knitting from this if I want to continue. So maybe I'll keep it that way. We won't be wasting any energy. So the yarn per se looks like this, and I thought it won't give stripes, but as you can see it does. And I thought I would just get speckles, and just speckles with a stripe yarn, I thought they would go together, but having a speckled stripes and then another solid stripe, it did not work for me anyway. So the yarn that I started, so the toe that I cut off, is the Berger de France, and this is a rainbow color, and yeah, 75/25 according to this. Beautiful yarn, and as you can see, plenty of it. I could probably have 2 pair of socks from this if I want to, with the contrast colors, heels and toes and stuff, so we shall see how it goes. Berger de France is a commercial yarn, and it's the one that it's kind of higher level, let's say that way, from perspective of the, I think, pricing. So this is how it looks, so let me know. But what I did, I used again Diane's leftovers from Knit Picks. She just rounded out, and she just sent me also in the package that big Christmas / birthday leftovers, and she sent me some colors with Knit Picks. And this is a straw sprinkle heather, so she just wind up a bit for me, I think each 10 grams or even more, 15 grams, I haven't even checked it, but plenty to knit, as you can see, heel, toes and cuff. And this is a beautiful yarn actually. I know she loves purple, so I believe it cost her a bit because it's amazing. It has different shadows of pink, purple, even the emerald color, I would say now. I'll go closer so you can see this. So nice. So this is Knit Pig Stroll, and I'm not sure what you're looking at. So is it this or this? The color? Sprinkle heather, and I'm going to show you the toe, so check this out. So nice. So nice. So anyway, I would really recommend you both, and anyway, it's so cool and nice to knit stripes. And like I said, I was knitting toe up, and I was knitting as long as I could. I had those balls separated, so I picked the one, I weighted the one that it's less heavy, and I started knitting with it until I run out of yarn, and then I had leftovers on the second one. So yeah, so you can definitely say this was my first, so I cut the yarn, this was my first, so this is the toe that I cut and inserted. So maybe I can compare, because I did not do it in the video per se. The tutorial only shows how I pick up stitches, and then I was thinking what kind of toe I am going to do, and my figure out is exactly the same you do for the heel, and I have a tutorial about that, and I link that down below. So now you can see they look. So can you tell me which one is toe up and which one is inserted toe? Yeah, so just telling you, this is toe up and this is inserted toe. So quite simple, or very hard to say. I think if you're not even a knitter, you would not notice. So that's that. So for perspective of knitting toe up, I really like that. You use as much yarn as you can for the tube. If you don't do heel straight away, I like afterthought heel, so when I have a tube I could change my mind in the last minute when I want to place the heel. I could go lower and give it to someone who has smaller feet, or go higher and that person would have maybe shorties. So basically shorties means that they're very short leg section with a calf section. So that's that. And then when you're inserting a heel, in case you get a hole, it's basically inserting a piece of yarn, so it's very easy to pick up and redo it if something happens to it. You don't have to patch it or anything like that. And now I show you that even with a toe that you would think maybe you were not able to even touch it if something happens to it, because you start knitting from the toe up, it is, as you can see, possible and enjoyable and so easy, and you can have exactly the same result. So I hope you enjoy that. Let me know, have you tried that? In regards to toes, have you ever cut the toe to change the color, or maybe you had a hole in the toe and you had to, or maybe yarn unraveled, anything could happen. Let me know, have you tried that? And if you watch that tutorial, please do, and let me know down below, is it something you would feel more comfortable doing in case you would have to in the future. I hope you enjoyed this one. See you next one. Bye. In the next one, I think I'm going to show you a tiny little mittens.